Okay, Babaji, thank you for giving us another opportunity to ask Babaji questions. So this week the theme is the thought of death, the trigger for Vairagya. So to start with, I would like to ask Babaji, what is death? What is the truth about death, and who is the one that is going to die?
Actually, death happens to the physical body. The mind, which is the consciousness and energy combination, is nothing but you, means you, me, what we call it as the self, and that is the life current also. And nothing will happen to that. What happens when death happens? The brain dies. At that time, the mind, which is consciousness and energy, which is also the I, becomes unconscious for a while, unconscious totally of itself, of surroundings, of the body, of anything else, until it resumes its next incarnation. Without much delay, in my opinion, it spins then and there itself and gets to see its own world, everything, parents and its body being born, all these things do happen depending on the attitude, the tendencies that the mind would have acquired since time immemorial, previous lives also, in the just previous life, which that body, physical body, falls dead from when it was alive also, whatever imprints it was taking, depending on that, it assumes its next incarnation. So this is what actually happens. So death happens only to the physical body, which is a matter. I would like to directly simply call it as a matter in the world, not the consciousness. Consciousness is the mind, which is infinite, invisible to naked eyes. So, like mind is invisible to naked eyes. So, that is what the self, it will go to its next birth.
Thank you, Babaji. So why do people want to avoid think about this death? Uh, and why is only very few go deeply into this thought and to know about the truth of this?
Yeah, I understand. Um, this is a science means what happens in the existence value. Like I also used to think as a child, when am I born with this physical body, and am I going to become extinct, totally finished, no existence at all when the body dies? Or am I going to exist in some other form? Well, this did not create any fear, but a little obsession definitely happened, wanting to know the truth, because this is such a fundamental truth involving all the creatures, all humanity. When the birth of the body has happened, death to the physical body is inevitable. So, to know this truth, one need not be afraid, there need not be any fear or panic. It is a truth. Instead of that, if everybody tries to know what is the truth, what will happen, that was how the ancient sages also wondered about one's own self. Say, secure existence of ourselves is important too. So, for that, if we try to know, so there would not be any disturbance. We are not going to destroy the mind. We are not going to lose capabilities to live in the world. Just we will know the truth. Like you come to know about a certain truth of science. So, what is Earth? What is Moon? What is Sun? Something like that. Astronomically, you come to know. In the same way, when you practice spiritual sadhana, you come to know about this truth of death happening to which? Who is going to die? What happens to us? Who are we in all this drama? Like this, knowledge can be obtained and we can live a normal life in this world. Just be ready when it happens, it happens. There will not be any fear, any panic, or any worry, any sadness or sorrowness. It's just like when your shirt becomes old, you take out and put on a new shirt. If at all a birth happens, that then other things we can start thinking.
Thank you, Babaji. So why this thought doesn't come to everyone? Why everyone don't ponder about what happens after this? I am going to be extinct. Why this doesn't happen to everyone?
Perhaps they are too preoccupied with their own mental imaginations, and they are preoccupied with this universe that is in front of us, in which this body is also there. So much of preoccupation. So a time never comes that such a thing doesn't occurs to many people. In fact, the interesting fact is that in the story of Mahabharata, when the Pandavas were in the forest, Vanavasa, one time, so one by one his brothers, they all go to a nearby pond to get some water. But there, the story says that Lord Yama was there in disguise of an angel. So he wanted them to answer his questions, but they did not care for him. So they all fell dead. So they all fall dead, in fact. So finally, the eldest brother Yudhishthira, he comes. When the same angel asks him, so before taking water, you have to answer my questions. Then Yudhishthira says, yes. So among so many questions, one of the questions answering Yudhishthira, the greatest wonder for me is that in this world, everybody is going to die, yet nobody bothers to think about it and start thinking as if they are going to live forever in this world. This is inevitable. So, like this, it doesn't comes. When it comes, it can take us to the highest truth. Like this thing occurred to Prince Siddhartha. Why we should become old, why we should die, what the secret is. And he became restless until he did not discover what the truth is. And he came to be known as Buddha Bhagavan, Buddha, the great Buddha. He obtained this knowledge. So all tapaswins, yogis, like our own Swamiji, they all discovered this amazing truth. So what happens if the mind carries any imprints or tendencies? Simply it will be reborn. It will assume another physical body. So if we can clear this mind once for all, totally pure, then there is no birth. We will exist in the supreme consciousness of existence, in supreme peace.
Thank you, Babaji. So about this, no, the yogis that going deep into this thought, like many yogis in India, like Buddha or like Nachiketa, Shankaracharya, Babaji himself, Ramana Maharishi. So what effect this thought did in them to go so deep in the spirituality and to achieve that truth only with this thought?
For different people, different things happen. Like Buddha, I have told. We will take up briefly about Nachiketa of the Kathopanishad. So, with him, what happened? His father was performing a big sacrifice and was a great scholar. Every day he used to give discourse on birth and death, that the self is Atman, we are eternal, indestructible. Like this, he used to give. So, during that fire sacrifice, he was preparing a list of gifts to be given to all guests who were invited for that fire sacrifice. He had a young son, maybe 7 or 8 year old Nachiketa. Playfully, he comes and he asks him, "Whom are you going to donate me?" Then the father was busy preparing. He just like that, playfully he said, "Idiot, don't disturb me. I will give you to death guard." Then he went on preparing. This sat in the mind of Nachiketa as a truth, means the honesty, the sincerity, because the boy was innocent. He thought, "Okay, my father has told me that he will donate me to death god. So now I will belong to death god." But actually, when the fire sacrifice was over, all gifts were given to all guests and everybody went away, then this boy is puzzled. My father told that he will donate me to death god, but he seems to have forgotten. He comes and tells father, "Father, you told me that you will donate me to death god, but you seem to have forgotten. This is very insincerity, wrong. You must do that one." Then his father starts crying. "How can I give you to death god? You are my only son. I love you so much." Then the story says, disgusted, Nachiketa jumped into the fire and went to the abode of Lord Yama. So after 3 days, Yama had gone on a tour. That the story says he was waiting at the gates. See the sincerity, that is important here. Honesty. The boy thinks, now I belong to Lord Yama and I cannot go anywhere else. I must just wait here until my Lord comes and asks me to do what next I am supposed to do. Until then, I must be here only. So he waited for 3 days. So when Lord Yama came, he was very happy at the honesty and sincerity of the boy. He tells, "Okay, you don't have to die, and you are here and you are so honest. I will send you back to the world. You go." But by then, this thought that death is inevitable, we have to die and we have to come to Lord Yama only. What happens next? He was puzzled. This had sat firmly. So now, in the arguments of the teachings of Kathopanishad, the next both argue. Lord Yama offers, you go back to the earth, you live there for a long time, say 5,000 years, you live there and enjoy. You don't have to die now. But the boy's firmness, you see, that's what it sat in the mind. Okay, you are sending me for 5,000 years, and the 5,000 years will be over. Time will pass by. After 5,000 years, is there anything to me to avoid coming back to you, Lord Yama? And Yama says, no, you have to come back. You can stay only for 5,000 years. After that, death is inevitable. So then give me that truth. Because before that, he asks the questions. When Lord Yama tells I will give you 3 boons. First he asks, let the world not blame my father that he promised to donate me to death god. The second one, he says, some people say, even after death of the body also, we will exist as Atman. And some say, really, we don't know. But nobody seems to know exactly. Nobody has come back to tell after death that my body died like this and I behaved like this, sincerely speaking. Myths are all different. People insincerely talking nonsense, near death experience, and all such things has no meaning at all. He spoke sincerely that time, but nobody has come back to tell the truth. So, Yama, please tell me what the truth is. What happens after death? What is this death? Then Yama tells you go back to earth and live there. You don't have to bother about this death just now. You are very young. You have to live for a long time. So in the argument, Yamaraja go on increasing the time. 5,000 to 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, but the boy is totally firm. See, that thought has sat in his mind. Death is inevitable. We have to die. Even after 50,000 years of enjoying being an emperor, whatever it is, death will come. After that, and that time will pass by. It will open. And then I have to come back. Then he asks Yama, is there anything to avoid coming back? Yama says, no. After 50,000 years, you will come back to me. So this is inevitable. This is the law of nature. For every physical body which has appeared will have to disappear. Which is born will have to die. So then now here tell me what the truth of my existence, what the ultimate truth is actually. So like that, this thought, that was how some of the great yogis firmly held on to that one. So he did not compromise for any other things. He did not get attracted for any other gift or boons of Yamaraja. He was totally obsessed with the death thought. I need to know the truth, what happens here. So like that, Swamiji also, he had the habit to hang on to it. He was blessed by the appearance of the divinity, Lord Shiva, who came as a Jangama sage. So perhaps because of his own destiny, then he was made to sit for tapas. So Swamiji went on doing that one without bothering. He knew about death will happen definitely. So that one incident after 2-3 months, one day he came out of Samadhi. He was feeling very painful. He was feeling very bad to sit down. He started crying. He thought, "Okay, why should I sit in this graveyard like a dead man? I did not ask anybody to make me to sit like this. What is the purpose? I need to go back home and do some business and look after my mother and other siblings. So let me go." Then when he came to the gates of the graveyard, so Lord, that Jangama sage was standing in the gate. He says, now you have to go back and sit for 12 years like this. That is in your destiny, which has enabled us to manifest, he said. So you, until 12 years, I will not allow you to go anywhere else. After 12 years, let us say you can go. If you still want to go anywhere, it's your choice. So then determined, Swamiji told this. You see, okay, now I will sit for 12 years that you want. Only if death happens to the body, I cannot guarantee. I am helpless. Then my effort for 12 years will be stopped. If death doesn't happen, I will not bother for any power, any difficulty, any obstacle. I will continue this tapas for 12 years. So determined, he promised. He came back and sat. So then it became a question of self-respect. That's what Swamiji used to tell. Means like Swamiji's nature was like that. Hang on to it, determined, do or die. He knew death is inevitable. That's when he said he was not afraid. I will sit for 12 years, but if death happens, then don't blame me that I did not complete 12 years. What can I do? Until then, I will definitely sit down. So like this, different yogis all happen in different ways. When I heard Bhaja Govindam, when the end comes to the body, none of the worldly power, health, wealth, anything cannot come to your rescue. Then I wanted to know the secret of death. I became obsessed. I could not forget this thought. But it did not create any panic or depression to me. Simply, I became more interested. What is the secret? Because as the scriptures tell, we are the eternal Atman. Why is that I am not aware of it? So like that, something has triggered for many people, and they have become yogis, and they have realized the self. So they have understood what the death means, what happens in the death.
Thank you, Babaji. So I understand that this effect has something to do, or is the effect of the vairagya what produces. So what is that vairagya, And what is the connection between the thought of death and Vairagya?
See, a few things can happen. Vairagya means detachment. Normally, we get to see all people are naturally attached to their physical body, thinking themselves to be the physical body, and also attached to the world, relationships, and so many things, and our property, matter, materials, everything, this world. We are attracted to this world generally. But when, if for anybody, a strong realization which penetrates into the innermost layers of the mind, what I can tell, just for sake of understanding, that this universe is impermanent and this physical body is impermanent. No matter whatever I am going to strive for and I get it, but finally, when the physical body dies, nothing will go with me. No building will go with me, that I am going to fight with my guru to take possession of the property of my guru. And when I die, it will not go with me. That realization, when it occurs to somebody, then such a person is likely to get the vairagya, detachment, and alternatively, such a person would like to go for the truth of the existence of the self, and know what the truth is actually. So, like that Buddha, it happened to Buddha, Siddhartha. He lost interest in the kingdom. He was a prince. He was married. He had a beautiful child, beautiful wife. He became totally restless. Not everybody can do like that. He left them and went and did tapas, and he became Buddha. He realized the truth, what the truth is. So, like that, it has happened to many yogis. So, that is, the detachment has come when they have understood the impermanence of the physical body or the world. Means when we teach, we don't teach that vairagya means that you have to give up your world or homes or body, anything. Nothing. A vairagya should be an yearning to know the truth. In my opinion, if you maintain that thing is good enough. You don't have to go to depression. Oh God, I will die. What will happen? It's all useless. No, you just live a normal life because so many participants are here. I don't want anybody to get confused. You live a normal life, eat your food, sustain yourself, you enjoy your life, love people, have good relationship. You don't have to become depressed. Simply, if you can maintain an earning that you want to know the truth of your own real self of existence, and in that process, you will definitely realize the process of death and birth and what happens, why it happens. So, all these things you will know. Then it will be your choice whether you want to be reborn with visualizations in the mind or you just want to become quiet and get rid of being born. It's a individual's choice, not to be imposed. This is what our gurus taught us. While teaching, we will have to be like this. Like Swamiji himself used to tell, you don't have to run to forests and caves. You can live in your home, live a normal life, but you will become a matured, better personality when you meditate. That's what he used to tell. You will have the earning to know the truth. Just like you want to go and obtain knowledge in academically, that doesn't mean that you have to give up food or you have to give up clothes or you have to give up home. Nothing. You remain in the home. You have the good clothes. You take the things. You eat food. Then you dedicate time to obtain that knowledge and wisdom. In the same way, for spirituality also, you live a normal life, you have clothes, you have a home, you eat well, and you have to dedicate time. If you want to know the truth of your real self, that's why I have always told you are much more beyond the birth and death of the physical body. You practice meditation and you will know yourself.
Thank you, Babaji. So, to go really to know the truth and to have this earning, we should understand the impermanence and futility of the entire world, even though we need to keep doing our duties, but we need to understand this. So how should we inquire about that to win that conviction that everything is impermanent and nothing is gonna be there?
Occasionally, or once in a day, once in a week, we need to remember through the divine remembrance of the birth and death of the body. The death is inevitable, but without getting fearful, just for sake of knowledge, we need to know then what happens to us. If I am not this body, am I something else that I am going to exist, or am I going to become extinct, finished after this body dies? Simply like that, if one tries to think, remind oneself on and off, in the midst of their life in this world, they can enjoy the life, they can achieve anything, they can think and go on like that, but have to take some time for that only. In other words, you have 24 hours every day. Just if you take 1 hour to meditate, all these things will come to you. You will know the truth eventually of your real self, about birth and death, about the physical body. All these things happen. The rest of 23 hours, you can be busy with your own job, earning, your life, everything you can live. So that is how you have to live. Then you will know that one. Just like you want to become anything in the world, you want to become a good artist, you want to become a sports personality, slowly you need to dedicate time. You want to pass a big examination, you want to have a good job, a high status in the society, slowly you have to dedicate some time every day to do studies, and then you have to appear for the examination. So you remain focused. You should not get panicked to pass an examination. Like a valiant soldier, courageously, you study well, go to the examination hall, and whatever comes in the examination, you write whatever you know, simple. Then the result will come. Whatever has to happen, it happens. So, like that, you have to prepare yourself. That is all. Every day, you practice 1 hour meditation, and then slowly, you will know the secrets of your own mind, its imaginations, and your truth of existence. All these things will be revealed. You will be able to observe.
Thank you, Babaji. So what this thought also has the connection with the meditation? Which connection has the thought of that with the meditation?
See, to understand connection with meditation, what the ancient sages understood, to know a certain truth, observing is what is important. Like in the present days, some great giants of science, they have discovered certain truths. That was through their observation power, whether it was in the laboratory or in the nature, anywhere, anything, in any way. The first important thing was through observation power. Their observation was so sharp, and they realized this truth. Whether it was Newton or Einstein or any other, so many scientists have happened. In the same way, as Swami Vivekananda said, we produce spiritual giants. So these spiritual giants of ancient sages, they understood that we need to keenly observe what the truth is. They went on inquiring also. Am I this body? No, I cannot be this body, because this body has come into existence and it is changing every day. It is aging and it will die one day. Something else must be there. As they went on doing, then discovered the meditation. When they meditated means they observed. That is one of the important points. You are meditating means you are observing, because all your consciousness is focused inside when you close the eyes. That is the most important thing the master teaches you. Like we teach, concentrate your mind and sight. That mind is the thing, important thing. You have to focus your mind there. If your mind is running here, half a mind going to London, half a mind going to shopping mall, half a mind going to cinema hall, like this, then you won't be able to observe the truth. Like you are sitting in front of me, if your mind is all running to somewhere else, then you won't be able to observe me, or you won't be able to hear me talking properly, and your brain will not absorb, the mind will not understand what I am trying to convey. So for all these things, your observation power is so important. So that is what the meditation's basic idea. First, you prepare yourself so that you learn to observe, you practice to observe, or that the body needs to be still. If the body is moving, then your mind won't be stabilized. It will also get a jerk and it will start dancing and runs away like that. So for that, study, that is the meditation's idea. Steadily sit down in any comfortable posture. That's what our guru taught. Then gently close the eyes. When you close the eyes, your eyeballs and eyelids must not be uh, wavering. It should be steady and stabilized. Because with that, if the eyeballs also wavers, and it can give a jerk to the mind also to waver and run away and spin in imaginations. So these are important things. So we teach you fix the eyeballs. Fixing your mind and sight means you understand fixing your consciousness and your eyeballs there steadily. We tell you watch. Watch means you observe. But I don't tell you what is it that you have to observe, because you will end up observing some object, some matter. That is what you are used to. Here you have to observe something else. The one that is going to observe is the one to be observed also. I repeat the sentence, listen, all of you. Meditation, the one who is going to observe is the one who needs to be observed. The one who is going to watch is the one who needs to be watched. Means you are going to watch and you are to be watched. The mind needs to watch itself. So these are the truth of observation. If you practice meditation, that will come. Then the truth will be revealed about the mind, about its infinity, about the consciousness of existence that I keep telling repeatedly amongst millions of thoughts. You have a consciousness of existence in your mind. Observe that. That's what Ramana Maharshi said. Observe from where the eye is arising, then your mind will get absorbed. So mind will get absorbed into that. For that, we try to give an example of a small droplet and its ocean. So droplet needs to get merged with ocean. So the mind needs to get absorbed with its ultimate truth. If the mind becomes quiet by observing, then it starts going towards its ultimate truth. If it is not quiet, if it is into chatterbox, it remains away always. It's spinning and creating its own world, life after life. That's what punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Again and again you are born, again and again you have to die. This keeps happening, this cycle. And where is the time for you to observe? You are so busy, preoccupied with your own birth and death. And so many things are there to attract you. Millions and millions and millions, galaxies after galaxies, Milky Ways after Milky Ways have been created to attract you, to divert your attention from your real self, so that just now you don't bother about your real self. Lord Yama tells Nachiketa just to test whether he was really ready to know the real self. That's what the Guru tests. 150 people might sit in front of him in the meditation. The first thing the Guru would like to know is how much you all are really interested to know your real self. Then, when you ask a question, I answer, and it is your ability to observe, to watch me, to pay attention to me when I'm answering, so that you can understand the meaning of what I am trying to tell. Then you do that one. That's what Krishna said, Arjuna, go to the knowers of truth before death shall claim thee. Asking intelligent questions and aptly paying attention to the master's teachings, observe what he is teaching, then adopting such methods, achieve the truth to yourself. These are all the method how you will learn observation. This is how meditation is connected to observation. Practice meditation means you practice observation. You practice the concentration, single pointedness of your mind. That has to happen first.
Thank you, Babaji. So, why it seems that for all these yogis, they all were young or in their childhood when this thought came and had that strong effect. So, why is it that it seems that in the childhood or in the young age, this thought gives a stronger effect that to the elder person or to a person that is now in, older? Why is it? Or even for them, even this thought doesn't come.
You see, one thing I would like to tell, there are so many examples that even after aging, even after being a householder at a certain steps, these things have come to many people and who have achieved self-realization. We cannot simply tell you only at the age of young only this has happened. Definitely for many people when they were young and children or young age, youth, these things have come. So exceptionally, this would have happened. But for many, after passing the middle age also, people have achieved after doing tapas when they were growing towards the old age also. There are so many examples would be there. If you read some scriptures are always there. This is the thing. So other things, points are likely it just happened to them in this life when they came across their thinking power, observation power, understanding powers were like that. So, this is what I have told, if you all remember, about even when different children are born to parents, different children might be carrying different tendencies, different capabilities of observation, understanding, all these things. Like Newton understood when the apple fell on his head, there is gravity. So many times, so many things would have fallen on so many people's head. They wouldn't have thought of that. Hundreds and thousands and millions would have heard Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. It would not have occurred to them simply at all. Simply they would have heard the song. And many people would have heard the song and bothered about the tune and other aspects of that song, but not the spiritual meaning. I have seen many people, they are knowledgeable with the music. They know about the tune, the raga, and the beats, the rhythm, so many other things. They obtain knowledge, but the actual spiritual meaning gets suppressed. They don't bother to know. That is because it is not in, they are not carrying the basic nature of observation. We teach, so many people come in front of us. In the Zoom also, we teach when people ask questions, but only those who have that right, apt attention paying ability, observation ability, understanding ability, they will understand what I am teaching. Otherwise, they may not understand at all. Understanding and listening to the commands of the master is essential. So that is very, very important. So these are the reasons If a certain person was bringing a basic nature from previous lives, if they were trying and doing sadhana and they were earning, so then in this life from a childhood itself, this earning would have come, this understanding would have come. This is possible. So these are some of the reasons likely which would have triggered them to go into an earning. For many, it would not have happened at all. And it would have happened to at a later stage of the life also, it can happen. Not necessary that it should happen only when you are young.
Thank you, Babaji. So about the fear of death, it seems that this fear of death, it is prevailing everywhere in the creation. No one wants to die, actually. So why is this fear there? Why the nature has given this fear to all the creation, to all the beings? What is the purpose?
See, one of the basic reason is ignorance about the truth of death. When we firmly our consciousness is sitting on the physical body as me, so this one thing, a secure existence is important, so important. When that secure existence is threatened, insecurity, one of the basic reason for any person, any creature to go into a conflict, that I have told. Like any animal, when they feel threatened, they don't know who they are, but their body is them for them. That's so important. In the same way for humans, anybody also, if their body is themselves. So when that is threatened, they feel insecure and go into a conflict. So they become fearful. They don't want to die. This is one thing. And another thing, ignorance of what happens after death. Who dies? What is the death means? What really happens? What is the phenomena that happens? Like if a doctor gives a medicine, he tells you what is going to happen to you, if there's any side effect or no side effect, this can happen, this will not happen, like that. But this is such a knowledge which is not written in books. Only such great teachers have spoken who have realized the self. To their students, they have spoken when they are ready, because we don't want to panic anybody. This is a truth, fundamental reality. This is a knowledge that you have to obtain, which can be so helpful to you one day when your body has to die. But you don't have to die today itself. You must know, understand this thing. Never get confused in our teaching. We don't mean any such thing at all. So that is why there would be a fear because of ignorance. One is we don't know what death is. Otherwise, it can be so beautiful once we know what it is.
Thank you, Babaji. So how can we overcome that fear and insecurity and teach the next generation about this?
Spiritual sadhana. Spiritual sadhana means the basic idea is to overcome the mind's imagination effects and take control of the mind. That we think and imagine only when we need to live in this one, and we won't get carried away by our own imaginations. That's what I mean to tell. So practice like meditation and other exercises prescribed in the spiritualities. Other type of sadhanas are also there. All these sadhanas are helpful to achieve this thing. Only such a thing can give you total confidence about yourself. Once you realize who you are, then you will know other secrets of who is going to die. Once you understand the difference between the mind and the brain and your physical body, all these things you come to know about it, and you will know which is the thing which will die and which is the thing which will not die, which will be eternal always. So like that, it all things will be revealed in meditation. Like for example, one sentence I have told, in meditation, slowly, if you adopt the right technique and just watch and observe, then slowly all thoughts, all visions, everything will dissolve. then the pure consciousness remains. The same mind, when it becomes pure consciousness, means here only the consciousness of existence. Nothing else is visible. No figure, no vision is visible, no thought is visible for you. You cannot know anything, but you know that you exist. You are aware that you exist. This is the consciousness of existence I keep talking. When this is experienced, then you will understand that this is an eternal reality. This was not an imagination of my mind. That you will realize one day. That was how probably the ancient sages also realized and spoke about the eternal existence, immortality of the self.
Thank you, Babaji. So this is the last question to finish with the theme. Um, what is the importance of India has the culture of you get to hear the Atman, the eternal entity, the philosophy teaches this, the people from young age, they can get exposure to that philosophy. But in the Western countries, they don't have that. So we know the meditation is the highest practice, but how important is to get the exposure to these philosophies for the people, the society to understand this spirituality.
So when one is very young, like a child, the mind will be into innocence because it has not been exposed to the outside world, not got attracted or absorbed such things, not got attracted, okay, this is mine, I need this one, I am this, all sorts of 100 things are not there. Then it can be a risky also. If it is directed, guided in the right sense, in the right direction, it can be molded to reach the higher status of knowledge and wisdom. If it gets misguided, it can lead to that child going into the wrong path. So when it's wrong path, after a certain age, when it reaches the saturated point, here important point, as I have always told, everybody, every soul, knowingly or unknowingly, are searching for happiness. This one thing is guaranteed for everyone, whether they know it or they don't know it, but they are searching for happiness. Means they want happiness, only they would like to do anything. You guide a person, you have to do like this, you have to do like this, but after a certain age, if they don't find their happiness in that, such a people can get attracted to something else. So this is what happens. So if the atmosphere is always guided into the right sense and explained properly to the child, okay, this is what it is, this you can achieve, this is what you can experience, then they will pick up and they will go on to this line. We were fortunate. From childhood, we got introduced to spiritual practices like chanting, bhakti marga, going to places of worship, all these things. We used to chant everything, devotional songs, music, everything was beautiful. Then eventually, as we came to the teenage, when we had to take up meditation, that we understood quickly and we went on, because this was also one of the basic habits we were told and we picked up, having faith in the guru. Like we learned, what example, when you would have gone to a primary or nursery school to learn a language, when the teacher wrote, say you were learning English, when the teacher wrote like this, A on the board and B, and she went on telling this is A, this is B, C, D. Without questioning, the child learns. If you go on questioning why I should call this A, why not the B as A, then learning gets delayed. With total faith, you picked up that language. Well, in the beginning, it is faith. As you grew up, then you understood that everybody uses the same A as A, B as B in the language. So that's how you picked up the language. So that is how, in any knowledge or wisdom, first it is the faith. If the innocence is there, then the faith builds up. It is cultivated. We believe firmly. Then it becomes a matter of self respect. Like, I love you, my Lord, my Guru. I believe in you. Whether you want to disturb me or not disturb me, you cut me into pieces. It is now my self respect. I am going to love you more. That was how we held on to our Guru's lotus feet in our consciousness. These things came naturally. So, like that, when you get guided and you understand what the truth is, and the truth is revealed, and your faith also becomes knowledge and wisdom eventually. So, this is what is needed. When this gets reduced in the society, so then the attention gets diverted. For that reason only, I have told many times, 50, 55 years ago, when we were small kids of 4, 5 years, challenge in front of our parents was definitely less. We were also not exposed to the outside world. Even a telephone, television, anything were a luxury, means not easily available to everyone. So we never got exposed and we went on learning. And we were fortunate that we found the right type of teachers, both in the school, at home, always, the primary school. Along with the books that they made us to study, they used to talk about moral values, characters, and cultures also. They used to talk in those days. I don't know what happens in the present days. The present day, everybody is simply bothered. They need to pass the examination to obtain a degree. More than that, they don't want to bother what they have to learn, because they need to go for a job, they need to earn. This will be the concern. But for us, we were told all the beautiful stories from Ramayana, Mahabharata, and moral values were explained to us. So all those things sat in us as a character and culture for ourselves. That's why the world could not simply exploit us to get sucked. We never got sucked into any nonsense things. Once we decided we don't want this, means we never got attracted to that one. Our mind was never weak, it was very strong. So this was how we were blessed, perhaps. But now, as soon as you are born, you have a cell phone in your hand and you got attracted. See, everything that has been invented or discovered is good, but we need a teacher also. Like I had told, you can obtain a knowledge how to shoot the gun, but the wisdom when to shoot and when not to shoot, where not to shoot, comes from a guru. That guru disciple relationship is so natural, so much needed. We learned from our gurus all these things, not simply by books. Book can write a certain limited knowledgeable. It cannot elaborately explain. When there was a teacher in front of us, for one poem, the teacher could elaborately explain the feelings in which the poet would have written that poem. So, like that, along with the grammar meaning also. Bhavartha, that is known as. Like this is important in life. You know the life secrets, you acquire knowledge. Along with that, you understand your own feelings, how you must control yourself, where you should not get carried away. You should be careful. You should maintain a distance with anything, with anybody. So, but today we see the younger generation very hardly they are exposed properly in the proper way to the teachings. So these are all the reasons that they don't get it properly. That is important. If they get it in the proper guidance, proper teachings, like all of you are blessed, at least you got a teacher to talk all these things. I don't charge anything for these talks. You ask a question and I give my opinion. And it is not directed to any individual or any group of individuals. Only for educational purpose only I spoke all this time. So wonderful questions. We have some time. If it's we can take few questions. Hevia, is it okay?
Yeah, Babaji, thank you. Thank you for the session.
Pranam Babaji. Thank you very much. Babaji, I have three questions. My first one is I've heard that at the time close to death of a dying person, that person can see people that have departed in their lives. Is that true? Or Babaji, can you just explain what
No,
are your
no,
thoughts on
not
this?
true. Not true. It's only in their
Okay.
imagination that they get to see. It's a myth, not in the science of truth.
Okay. And then, Babaji, another question I have is that I've heard from conversation with the elders that there are many layers of the body, like physical body. There's Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. Now, Babaji, my question is, what are your thoughts on this? Are there different layers? Because you have explained, Babaji, that the death happens to the physical body and not to the mind. Just want to hear on your thoughts on that, please.
You need to understand in a simple way with one main switch. You don't have to bother all these koshas. Symbolically, teachers would have explained all these things. These are all there. Ah, like just like in the modern days, you have a kidney, you have a liver, you have a lung, you have a heart. Like that, they have explained all these things. But for as a common people, we are all common people. I'm not a neuro expert, but we all know that when brain dies, that's when actually doctor declares that death has happened, he has passed away. Otherwise, the doctors say sometimes even if a heart failure happens for 1 or 2 hours, also the brain might still be available a little bit. Slowly it dies. But if the brain dies first, the death happens. So this is what you need to understand in a simple way. Don't have to bother about so many layers. Layers are all there, but most of the time they are in the mind's imagination. Annamaya kosha is there. That means where we eat and our food goes, it sustains our physical body. It's digestion, all these things. They have spoken as kosha, avarana, everything. So too many botherations may create confusions for you. I hope this is enough. The brain death and the mind gets detached from the brain and the mind assumes its next incarnation.
And Babaji, at the time, once a funeral, when the person is dead, they do funeral rites, and they tend to explain that you put the dead person in a certain posture because of whatever rites that are being done. Is that any connection at all, or you don't have to follow that at all then?
Really, it has no connection because all over the world people die and in different postures it has been told. This is a tradition. So usually you respect a tradition. So because of that only you have to do that one. Like usually even yogis are made to sit if that is possible. But if it doesn't happen, also still a yogi would have attained total liberation. Not necessary that you have to pass away in a particular posture and place the body in a particular posture, then only the liberation happens. These are all the traditional beliefs. Exact truth hardly anybody knows. This is the thing. So traditions you want to respect, you can follow. For some reason, if it is not possible to follow, you don't have to worry. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Babaji.
Okay.
Pranam, Babaji. I have two questions, if that's okay. The first one is that different cultures and different religions have different ideas around what happens after death, like heaven, for example. Is that kind of idea of heaven, can that inspire in the same way of creating some faith and some sincerity and detachment, or not so much?
Generally, in my opinion, with due respects to all religions, all groups, anything, truth is one. That's what will happen. And there is likely that any one person would have experienced the truth and would have tried to tell the next generation, teach this is what it is. If that has not been able to be understood properly, sometimes in a misguided way, a mythical thing can get built up. And then the next generation go on teaching the same thing, which may not be the actual truth. It may simply a myth. So that's what happened. That is why only when you meditate, you will experience the actual truth. Till then, you have to believe and have faith in somebody else telling. That's why Swamiji told, you meditate and know yourself. That is the first-hand knowledge that you can obtain in these things.
Thank you, Babaji, and I understand. And then you were talking about the young people with the phones, and they maybe getting on the right path is a little bit harder with all of those distractions. Is that part of the Kali Yuga? Is that just because we're progressing in this age that each generation seems to have less opportunity to know the truth?
Perhaps that's why they have told in the age of Kali that things will have such effects on human minds. Only such things will get to be absorbed. See, that's what it is like. For example, when we were born and our parents were pious, means God-fearing people or religious people, they practiced such chants. My mother used to chant God's name, and we always listened to devotional music. We were blessed. Otherwise, at that age, we didn't have any consciousness of what we are supposed to do. Whatever we got to do, we learned. But the same thing may not be blessed for any child of present day. It's very rare. Occasionally, one might get blessed if the parents are also on the spirituality, or if the parents understand the real truth of spirituality, then only they can impart such knowledge. My mother imparted such knowledge of Bhakti Marga in a scientific way, traditional. They were moderate and they did not have orthodox misbeliefs. She wanted me to learn the truth on my own by practicing. So, like that, she taught me. So, we were blessed. The present day generation, very less, rarely they will get. So, as you are talking, perhaps that is the effect of the age of Kali.
Thank you, Babaji.
Pranam, Babaji. Thank you very much. I have two questions, Babaji. Number one is how to develop vairagya in relationships.
You have to understand one is impermanent, and if the things doesn't work out, you have to accept. If it works out, you go ahead, because in relationship always two different people are involved. If it is only you can develop that you want self-realization, you can develop that you want to meditate, because you don't have to depend on anybody else. But if you want to have a relationship with somebody else, apart from that you have to depend on the other person's likings also. So nature of two persons will be there. Whether it will be tallied or it will go into a clash, you don't know. So you have to be ready. You have to only try. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, don't allow that doesn't happen to spoil your happiness, your peace, your spiritual pursuit, which is foremost vital for you. Because when the death to your physical body happens, nobody will be there to go with you. So, like this, you have to develop vairagya and understand detachment if doesn't happen.
Thank you, Babaji. And the second question is Lord Kartikeya or Lord Murugan, another name for Lord Murugan is Shabda Brahma Samudrascha. Can you just explain what is this? Why he is called as Shabda Brahma Samudrascha? Can you explain that?
Shabda Brahma is the Nada Brahma also. Shabda Brahma means because the entire creation is made up of sound and sight. This is one thing in a simple terminology I have tried to explain. Sound is equally important along with the sight. If a silent movie you watch without sound, you may not get that thrill. If the same movie, when it is produced, background music is given to a certain scene to create a thrill, certain sound effect is also given. So, like that, this creation has happened. So, perhaps they've explained the in charge deity's form is Swami Kartikeya Subramanya. The Shabda Brahma Samudra means Samudra is the vast. He is the vastness, he is all pervaded as the Shabda Brahma.
Okay. So it means is he the master of the Shabda Brahma? He is the
In that
from
form,
him
you see,
that,
there is
okay,
one God, there are no different gods. The same
okay.
Parabrahman has taken that form also to tell.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what they have explained.
Okay. Thank you, Babaji. Pranam, Babaji.
Pranam, Lord. I have an experience and a faith of the divine guru always being with me, but my meditation before your manifested form is always better. What can I do to achieve the same level of focus when we're not in the Zoom and I'm meditating on my own?
Try to remember the name of your divine guru. Repeat the name of your divine guru so that your mind can get tuned into that. Eventually, you will be able to achieve in meditation better results. So you remember your guru's name, eh? Okay. Good.
Yeah, Pranam Babaji, there is no power here, so you don't see me. Sorry.
Okay.
There are two questions. One question is, like the meditation is helping us to purify our mind. Does it purify our body also? With respect to the disease and the death. So normally when you grow older, or you're going to get some diseases and then die.
See, ultimately, about the physical body, we have to understand ultimately it has to grow old and go away one day. Meditation will not make to cure all type of illnesses, and that it will not get aged also. All yogis, all great people have grown old. Buddha passed away at the age of 80 plus, but when he attained self-realization, he was very young. So like that, the body will go away in its own way. Definitely, such a person's body who meditates will become more respectful in caste of purity, because the mind becomes purified. It will induce the body to remain in a purified actions always. So this one thing we can tell. Other than that, body will attain the old age and it has to go. Illness will also come. Even for a yogi also, illness will come. Ramakrishna had the throat cancer. Ramana Maharishi had. So all such sages have had their things. So this is inevitable.
Thank you. So the second question I had was, as we lose the physical energy, is it possible to do the meditation in lying posture in the bed, or do we
Yeah, I understand. You can lie down and try to do, but you must take care that you don't fall asleep or become unconscious. You need to keep your brain alert and try to do that meditation if the physical energy is not good enough. But instead, you might try to sit down to a wall to comfortably, like keeping the legs straight instead of folding, if that is difficult. Any such methods also you try. In spite of that, if it's difficult, you can lie down and try to meditate, but take care that you don't fall asleep. It's important.
Thank you. Baba. Thank you.
Hello, Babaji. Namaste. I have three questions. My first question is just in relation to the first question you got asked about seeing dead relatives. Can I just ask for just a bit of elaboration on that and why you don't believe that when we're close to death we don't it's imagination?
It's not the question of believing. In my experience and observation, it doesn't happen. That's my opinion, and I stand by my opinion. Because mind, first important thing is, can give only any such thought or a vision that which it imagines. It cannot give any truth at all. Once one person dies, when the body dies and leaves, with that person's connection to that body and the previous life, that form, everything disappears. Really, in truth, hardly anybody knows what happens to that person. If any relative is there, that person's figure, picture, or the body is into memory, they are likely to get generated with a remembrance. So that's what happens. Actual connection does not happen. This is the truth. I stand by that one.
Okay. My second question is, when we do die, do you believe that we would meet our deceased relatives?
That is not the death, actually. That's not. These are all mythical stories that has been told and built up since ages. Many people in the world might believe, but that's not the truth. If you read Yoga Vasistha, that Vasistha has explained very scientifically to Lord Rama, when death happens, the brain dies and the mind gets detached from the brain, and then that mind, based on its tendencies, thought habits, it spins and then creates its own world. It's an illusion. Every time an illusion is created, whatever it gets to see is a new illusion. It would have forgotten all the previous thing. So when you die also, you don't get to see others' illusions. You will see only what illusion is created by your consciousness. This is some of the truth, may not be conclusive, but when you do tapas and observe such things, then you will be able to make out the mind and its imagination powers, creativity, how it can create such things in imagination only.
My last question, sorry, Babaji, is about sleep. When we sleep, are we unconscious or are we? What's
Yeah,
the situation?
when you sleep, it is the brain which goes to sleep. Then the mind gets temporarily detached. So that's when you become unconscious of the body, surroundings, temporarily. As soon as the brain gets up, then the mind gets sucked into the brain's reflection and you are up. You will tell that I was sleeping. You are there. You don't disappear, but simply you are unconscious of the surroundings and
Okay.
the body.
And then dreaming and lucid dreaming, how does that come into play?
Dream also happens a little bit knowledgeably, because the brain is, most part of the brain is sleeping, but a little bit, a minute particle of the brain might be active. Then it sucks the mind and it produces a dream sequence which is short in time. This universe is like a longer dream that has been produced by a higher consciousness. You are a part of it as a microspec. That's why this appears so real. And when you are dreaming, also, as long as you are dreaming, that dream appears so solid and real. Until you don't get up from the dream, you cannot make out that you are dreaming. But because it is of a short term dream, because the brain's activation is very little, This is a small knowledgeable thing. And when that is done, when the brain gets up, you also come out of that dream, and that dream is gone, and you realize that you were dreaming. But still, such a dream also can create such havoc in your mind. Sometimes you tend to believe if the picture is very strong and solid, long time, you are unable to forget the dream. Sometimes, by the time you get up in the morning, you would have forgotten what you dreamt. You would be wondering, I dreamt something like that, I am forgetting that thing. But sometimes, years after, you will not forget. So, these are all the illusion created by the collusion of mind with the brain.
Thank you very much, Babaji.
Pranam Babaji, my question is, before we die, how can we ensure that we're a moral person in all our relationships? Like, how do we ensure that we're like, a good daughter, a good sister, and a good disciple?
That is the reason we teach spiritual exercises like meditation, remembering the divinity, or any mantras you chant, so that these things purify the mind. And when the mind is purified, you become a better human being. You will be able to uphold moral values and understand your status, that you can maintain your character and culture in a much better way. You need to practice spiritual exercise, meditate.
Thanks, Babaji. Pranam.